First, though, it's time for a couple of holy mackerel stories in today's news. Yesterday's inauguration went off pretty darn well, as big events go. The biggest crowd ever for an inauguration. For a time yesterday, the National Mall and the immediate area around it in Washington was the 5th largest city in the United States, population-wise. That said, the situation was not entirely glitch-free. The swearing-in itself was, of course, marred by a flubbed delivery by the Supreme Court's Chief Justice, John Roberts. Because the actual exact 35-word presidential oath of office is spelled out in the Constitution, Article 2, Section 1 says exactly what the new president is supposed to say to be sworn in. It is possible that messing it up, like John Roberts did yesterday, kinda, sorta has constitutional consequences. And so tonight, in the map room at the White House, already probably President Obama and Chief Justice Roberts tried again. And this time they got every syllable of the oath correct. They did it very slowly. And then the president joked that he had to attend 12 more inaugural balls. Seriously. So that was inauguration glitch number 1. Fixed. Whew. Glitch number 2, even though something like 1.8 million people did make it to the inauguration ceremony, thousands of people were left quite literally out in the cold. 240,000 people had tickets to see the inauguration from the Capitol lawn area. They were each assigned to a color-coded section. Folks were told to go through security at a specific gate around the Capitol. Well, for some people with purple, blue, or silver tickets, having a ticket and following instructions and starting out really early in the morning wasn't enough. For hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, they stood in line. By the time they got within sight of their security gate, they found it was closed. Their areas had already filled up while they were waiting in line. So now, in a 21st century style protest, the ticket holders have launched their own Facebook page. It's described as a group dedicated to all those with purple, blue, or other tickets to the inauguration who braved the early morning cold and the crowds, only to end up lined up for a mile through a highway tunnel that purple ticket holders have deemed the Purple Tunnel of Doom. So if folks had tickets, why weren't they accounted for? The Senate Sergeant-at-Arms, Terrence Gaynor, told the Washington Post, quote, "It does appear that maybe there were more tickets in purple and blue than bulky people in coats would permit." Sure, blame the layering. Police opened some areas that were not supposed to be for crowds, but that still did not accommodate all the ticket holders. A friend of mine who had one of those purple invitations sent me this cell phone picture to show me the exact spot that he and thousands of other people were standing in when Obama took the stage to take the oath. Not all that memorable. Considering the hundreds of thousands or, frankly, millions of people who did get in, this counts as a glitch, not a full-scale breakdown. But for the thousands of people who were locked out and half frozen through no fault of their own, that glitch was their inauguration experience. Drag. And speaking of glitches, on Monday we talked about a project spearheaded by a Virginia businessman named Earl Stafford to bring more than 400 disadvantaged Americans to D.C. to experience the inauguration and a lavish party he called the People's Inaugural Ball. Mr. Stafford provided hotel rooms and transportation to D.C., and lots of people were moved to donate ball gowns and tuxes and services of various kinds to make the People's Inaugural a success. While discussing that on this show on Monday, the image we showed on screen was of the website of this inaugural celebration, a totally different People's Inaugural Ball, woohoo, which took place on Sunday, which was all about raising funds and raising awareness for D.C. statehood and D.C. voting rights, among other causes. We apologize for confusing the two totally different People's Inaugurals and their websites. I hear that people had a great time at both events, and I, of course, am a ginormous doofus.